Evening, VC. All right, got no Jazz Bums stream here on Friday night, so I thought I'd jump on and take care of some business I've been meaning to get to with some of these videos. A while back, Art the NC Vinyl Picker asked us to do kind of a mid-year update. I guess show maybe the 10 best records that you've added to your collection. I'm just going to stick with LPs. I actually think I might have pulled more than 10 here, maybe 12. So we got those to show. I had a couple packages come in this week. We'll show what came in those as well. No trips to the record store though, but some great records here that arrived. And also we'll touch on the video I just posted earlier in the week. So yeah, a lot to cover here. This might be a lengthy video. So yeah, early on in the year, this record came in from the Bop Shop up in Rochester, New York. I was able to get them to ship this one to me from Off the Wall. Saw it there on the dig with Brandon, Faust in the Head, and I want to say Joe Analog Archive might have been with us. I know he was with us at Record Archive earlier in the day. So yeah, this one I love the cover art, and I'd been meaning to check this record out based on Dom's video he'd done way back in the day, featuring the 99 Records label out of New York. This is Glenn Branca, The Ascension, an original first pressing. And one of the best guitar records you're ever going to hear in your life. All these guys on guitar, for the almost all of them, and Lee Ronaldo included, who would go on to be in Sonic Youth. You know, this would be one of the records that would spawn that whole New York scene at the time. I think this was like 81. Swans and Sonic Youth and all that would come from this scene eventually. And here is the LP. It's in pristine condition. The jacket's not, but the LP is. And this was a great price. So down it came here from the Bop Shop. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, a killer one. I'm very happy to have this. Next, another one from very early on in the year, probably in January, is when this was ordered. I know Alex Motor 247 got this record for me. He did a bulk order online through Au Toi Toi Tour in Montreal, Canada, as they sell on their website. And he told us, hey, I'm going to put in an order. If you want to save on the shipping out of Canada, let me know. We'll, send me the cash and we'll tack on whatever records. And I picked this one out, the Yosuke Yamashita Trio. And this is Charisma. And it's original Japanese pressing on MPS. I believe it's Japanese. Yeah, it's got the Obi there and everything. Most MPS records came out of Germany, though. But this is a free jazz monster of a record. It's got one of my favorite alto sax players, Akira Sakata, on it. Yosuke Yamashita on piano and Takeo Moriyama on drums. A brilliant one. Very stoked to get this. One of my top finds of the year so far. Next, this is a record I was aware of somewhat, and it came back to me just because of seeing the Bob Dylan movie with my friend Mayor T. And as he's actually on this record, even though he's not shown on the cover on this original copy, later copies would have his name added in a block on here. But this is a great blues record. Victoria Spivey, and it's on the Spivey Records label. With Roosevelt Sykes, Big Joe Williams, and Lonnie Johnson. It's a fantastic blues record. And not very easy to find. I can't remember the year on this, but we'll show you I think it's a white label, if I recall from playing this. Oh yeah, white label. Nice copy as far as the vinyl's concerned. The cover is pretty well loved, if you want to use that word. But you know, this is a very old blues record. Was very stoked to find that. I think that was on eBay cheap. You got Big Joe Williams. What a badass. All right, next. This one came off the wall at Noble from the first Voice of America drop. The only record I got from that first drop. I went for this one just because I've had those Now Again reissues, which were some of the first they were really doing and just are not up to par. They're doing much better work now, but this is David Axrod, Songs of Experience, an original first pressing on Capitol. These are not easy to come by. This was a really good deal that Dylan was able to give me. He took some money off. Yeah, fantastic stuff. Very happy to upgrade my reissue. Then we have, you know, again, we use those word grails and whatnot. This would be one for me personally. I'd always had the silver original press of this, the silver label, but the first time it was issued was a beige label, and very difficult to find. Lungfish, Necklace of Heads, their first release. On Discord and Simple Machines, split release, split label release. One of my favorite bands of all time. Of course, Ace Osborne on guitar is phenomenal. Just great repetitive groove. Daniel Higgs, brilliant vocalist. I've talked about Lungfish ad nauseum. We'll show you that beige label, and it still had the original insert. So this had everything I was looking for. The Simple Machines insert. And there's your 1990 Discord beige label with Simple Machines. Very cool. This is the early Lungfish was a little more rocking out than what they would do later. But yeah, love this record. Big one for the collection, and it also has a different color spine than the silver label release. This is another one thanks to Alex. If I said Motor 247 earlier, I meant to say Diamond Marimba. Yeah, Albert Eiler Bells. This is a rare pressing of this one. There are a ton of different pressings. This one has a very beautiful minty cover. This is about as nice a copy as you can find. And a rare version. It has a stereo label. With this, you know, the photo of Albert Eiler on there. But it is a mono pressing. And it is blank on the back with no silk screen. The others were colored. And this was recorded in 1965. This is a 66 mono. Albert Eiler on sax, Donald Eiler, his brother, on trumpet, Charles Tyler, saxophone, Louis Worrell, bass, and Sonny Murray on percussion. This is prime free jazz. Albert Eiler Bells. This is one of the prides of my ESP Discs collection now. Thank you, Alex, for sending me the link to that one. I jumped all over it. Next, this is a record I found in a record shop in Colorado on Discogs. Haven't bought much on Discogs this year, but this was one. This is a minty copy of the Dead Kennedys' Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables with the original orange cover with everything it came with. A beautiful copy. Of course, the band did not want it to be orange, and so they got pulled and changed to black. This is as nice a copy as you're going to find of this record on IRS. What's there to say about Dead Kennedys that hasn't been said? And the poster insert folds out and all that business. We won't get into all that, but I had been looking for this one for quite a long time, and was holding out. I know John Digital Gramophone has always had the same copy, but I think he had decided to hold on to it. I couldn't convince him to send it my way, but I found one finally. Next, this is one... first heard about this record many years ago. When I first got into watching VC videos, I was binge watching some of the guys that were heavily into jazz. You know, because I jumped in and they had already put up 40, 50 videos or whatever. One of them was Kieran at Needle Groove up in Montreal. And he was heavily into jazz, but also into soul and funk music. And he showed this record. And it really intrigued me based on the first track alone. But Mary Clayton, this is the Ode Records label release. I can't remember what year this is from. But I found this original in the bins at Twist and Shout in Denver on the dig with Mr. Carlson and Tice and the guys. Southern Man, her version, fantastic. From Neil Young. And this is a VG copy. So it was very... This record can go for a bit of dough. But there's your label. And this was maybe 30 bucks or so. Maybe it was 30 some bucks. It was under 40, I remember that. And I had seen it in a flip video that Carlson had done weeks prior, and it had survived. So I was very excited to pick this record up at Twist and Shout. I couldn't believe it was still there. This is fantastic soul funk record. Billy Preston is on this on keyboards. So right there, love that guy. The fifth Beatle. This is another one that I found on the trip to Denver to hang out with Mr. Carlson and Tice and Mr. Poetry on Plastic. Sister Rosetta Tharp, Gospel Train on Mercury, an original first pressing in just absolutely stunning condition. As nice a copy as you're ever going to find of this. This was on the wall at Tiger Records in Colorado Springs. And they were kind enough to send this my way as I was out of room in my bag. So this one ended up being shipped later to me. This is a heavy-duty piece of vinyl. There you go. Mercury long-playing microgroove label. Wonderful gospel rocking stuff from the one and only Sister Rosetta Tharp, who could really jam on the guitar. One of my all-time favorites. And there was last year a wonderful release that Zev did of some live performance of Sister Rosetta Tharp in France. Highly recommend getting that. But this has Jericho, Can't No Grave Hold My Body Down. Up Above My Head, There's Music in the Air. There's some great stuff on this record. That was a fantastic find. This one is probably the best record I found at the big record fair that I met some of the guys at up in Clemens, North Carolina. My friend Joe Sloan was with me. Ran into Art, NC Vinyl Picker, and also ran into, well, we spent some time over at the Zonkman's house, which was a lot of fun, and he went to the record fair. And this is John Fehee, Fair Forward Voyagers, original on Tacoma. And there was a guy there's a Virginia seller, and he had a whole run of Fehee originals. And so this is the big one that I had on my list. And I picked it up. This wasn't that cheap of a record, but it was reasonable based on condition. It's a wonderful copy. This is a little more psychedelic from Fehee here compared to his other records. Yeah, I respectfully dedicate this album to my guru, Swami Satchidananda, 1973 Tacoma Records on his own label. Yeah, he was into that kind of stuff, that more spiritual end of things and psychedelic stuff, and that's what you get with that. Got just two more free jazz records, kind of as a bonus here. Those are probably my 10 best finds so far here at the midway point. But this one I'd seen a few times and had on my list. I know that Joe Analog Archive had gotten a copy years back. This is Danny Davis with Takahisa Kosugi and Peter Kowald on the SAJ label. The Global Village Suite Improvised. That's a wild cover for a wild record from these three gentlemen. Heavy free jazz. Danny Davis on alto and flute. Takahisa Kosugi on violin, and Mr. Kowald is on the bass. 1986 is when this was recorded in Japan, and yeah, this is really incredible stuff. Danny Davis, of course, legendary for being in Sun Ra Orchestra, and yeah, leads this group here. Great stuff. And then last but not least, I was shocked to see this just sitting in the bins at Noble. He doesn't get a whole lot of free jazz in. There's been a decent amount thanks to that big collection, the Voice of America, but this was not part of that collection. So I snatched this up. This was an extremely great price that he had on this compared to what it goes for. I think maybe because there's a sticker residue on the cover. But yeah, this is Keith Tippet and Louis Maholo. No Gossip on the SAJ FMP label. An original of this from Germany. 1982. Keith Tippet, wonderful pianist, and Louis Maholo, one of my favorite drummers in the history of jazz. I was absolutely blown away. This was in the bins. Made my day. And there's the original insert. And there's your FMP Records label. So yeah, that's what, 12 records I'd say are some of my better finds as far as LPs. Here at the midway point, I think maybe only even one of these came from Discogs. So yeah, finding some stuff elsewhere. Now we'll get to packages that came in this week. One of these is a record I've been looking for all year and just striking out. And they pressed multiple different pressings of this record, but it got gone on release immediately. All formats just wiped out pretty much. There's stuff starting to trickle back onto Discogs. And finally, an LP popped up in Albany, New York. I think at Fuzz Records. Might have been the name of the online seller. But this is Contention, a band from Florida. I want to say the Tampa area. Artillery from Heaven. Heavy as fuck stuff right here. This is on the Days label. They remind me of Sever the Tie. And I, of course, love Sever the Tie for obvious reasons. But this is on the, it's called, I want to say non-alcoholic beer color or something. I don't know. They're straight edge, this band. Very, very heavy. The guitarist is an absolute badass. He dresses up like Farmer Jones, though, in overalls, but goddamn does he slay on the guitar. The singer is about as crazy as you're going to get. He hits himself upside the head with his microphone as often as possible while on stage, just smashing it upside right in the center of his fucking skull. But they're intense and a tight band. The riffs are incredible. They sound really well recorded on this. The vocals compared to live, I almost prefer the recorded version better than the live on the vocal. But what a killer band. Yeah, Contention. I even had Scott at Lunchbox get with his distributors to get me a copy, and they couldn't get one. So that took me a long time to find that. Great heavy stuff. Released from last year, 2024, Contention. And then, last but not least, the new record that dropped today from the vinyl community's own Dom at Seeking a Thread. His band is now on tour. Did their release show last night at Angry Mom Records in Ithaca, New York. Material Objects in Revision. The album's here finally on Resident Recordings. And the hype sticker says it all from the Rev. The debut full-length LP by Material Objects. There's a glow to this band. It's quite literally indie rock. The Rev rock and rollin'. I love that Dom put that shit on there. The Rev is he is a riot. I hope he's getting paid in some way, shape, or form for his posts, because it's solid gold every time. This guy, he's an absolute natural. But in the package, as padding for the record, was a couple of the covers of this record, because they had ordered a matte finish, which was this one with the more of a border here, and whoever made their covers screwed up the order and didn't give them matte, but ended up making it right. And so here's the wrong covers. Notice how the border's cut off at the bottom. So he used a couple of these as stiffeners, and I put one of the stiffeners with my test press of this record, which Dom was kind enough to send me earlier on, so I've already heard this record. And yeah, their best so far. They've only had EP so far. This is the full length. I love every song on this. It's got some diversity to it. Of course, their influences do kind of wear on their sleeves, which is great. Sonic Youth, Pavement. Definitely hear some shellac influence on the heavier stuff on this. Great album from Dom and crew. And yeah, I think the closest they're coming now here, they couldn't get a gig in Charlotte. Charlotte is, I don't know why it's so tough to get a gig in Charlotte these days. But they did get a gig in Asheville at a wonderful record store there, Static Age. I just don't know if I can get out there. It's midweek. It's a school night, and you used to be able to get out to Asheville an hour and a half. There's a lot of road construction out there, as you can imagine, from Helene, so you can tack on another 45 minutes or whatever. Getting out there, especially if I was to leave here after work at 5, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make the gig, but I might try to pull skills. Be nice to see them live here in North Carolina. But I wish them well. If I don't, Asheville is one of the best towns for digging for records in America. They have 7 or 8 great record stores now in Asheville. Harvest being number 1, Earth River right up there. Great record stores there in Asheville. Very diverse selections. A lot of great original pressings you can find in that town all the time. So I'm sure Dom will be able to get a good dig in Asheville. I know he's bummed about missing Noble here, but yeah, he'll get down eventually so we can get into Noble. Yeah, and I also got the CD, just for good measure. Oh, I'll turn it the right side up there. For the car. So this will replace Deaf Heaven in the car. In Revision for Material Objects. All right, last, I'll just speak about a little bit in regards to the last video I posted. Got an hour and change of footage Had a folder in my external hard drive that I stumbled upon, which was just basically like when I edit videos in Final Cut, I would keep all the music portions that I would mix into the YouTube videos here separate in that folder. There's a lot in there that was omitted. A lot of this stuff has never been seen before. Some of it has been included before, but there's a large percentage of the footage that I put in that video the other day that hasn't been released. And I just took the time to kind of make a nice, kind of seamless transition happen between all the cuts, so that I think there's about 67 shows worth of footage. I think I started with 72 and then cut it back to 67. And some of my favorite moments from the kind of the B-roll, so to speak, from maybe about the past 10 or 11 years. All digital footage this time. The project I did prior, which was about 3.5 hours long, that was all recorded on tape. That was old tech that I did the Chronicles project with. That's when I was filming all the time, paying gigs, a lot of it, and was using old freaking cameras that recorded a tape. And then all the footage from this past video is either with a Canon digital SLR, the Panasonic Pro, or a GoPro, or the iPhone. The bigger venues is all iPhone, like Megadeth and all that kind of stuff. As that you can't bring in other shit. But yeah, I had a lot of fun making that video. I hope you get to watch that. There's a lot of great bands in there. Even my friend Joe, who was at most of those gigs with me, didn't recognize a lot of the bands that I put in that video. So the Lost Edit project. So yeah, hope you enjoy that. Anyway, take care. Peace.